It's about time. Your time. Fox 11 Tucson Now Sports.
Breaking down Arizona football, the Wildcats with a 45-18 loss at Houston on Saturday. 0-2 is Arizona for the first time since 1981. I'm David Kelly, joined as always by Glenn Howell, U of A football class of 1985, and Glenn, 1981. That was right before you got here. Yeah. 37 years ago, we haven't been in this situation. But I want to start with this because it's something that we've talked about over the years, about how we always thought that Arizona's non-conference schedule was a bit cupcake-ish. That's not the case this year. We knew going in that these were going to be two pretty competitive ball games. I thought they would come out of it 1-1 versus 0-2, but you've got to hope, despite the fact you're sitting here at 0-2, that this is going to be good preparation for what you're going to see come week 4 in the start of Pac-12 play.
Well, Dave, I think that, all our fans are jumping off the bandwagon. I think all the ERs and the urgent cares were all full with broken legs and elbows because they're jumping off the wagon. But let's just calm down. Let's get this thing back. We'll get this thing back on the tracks again. Give Kevin Sumlin a chance here. And then I heard about the demeanor on the sideline. First, they didn't like Mike Stoops going crazy, and then, you looked at Rich Rodriguez. He was a little bit loud, too, and then now he's a cool guy. They don't like the cool guy. Yeah, they don't like Mr. Cool. I mean, come on. I mean, listen, he's going to turn this ship around, and we're going to get back on track and just give him some time. And I think when we get the players, I think we're going to get these players to start playing better. And this team, like I said, they have to find their soul. They got to find who they are. And each individual got to look each other in the eye and say, hey, what am I going to do today to get this team better? And that's what we have to have a team effort.
So essentially you're saying did we overrate the talent on this ball club? Because I said all fall camp that I thought that Kevin Sumlin was coming in here with pieces to be able to have a competitive year. So were we overrating this team? Because I still think that, this is pretty much what we had last season.
No, I don't think we're overrating it, Dave. I think that we were they're not just performing. They're not performing. I don't know what it is with the new coaching staff, the new approach. I don't know what it is. I can't pinpoint what the problem is because we have the players that can make plays. They got to start making plays.
Yeah, I totally agree with you on that standpoint. I remember when I went to the spring game and I walked away from that spring game and I said to myself, in terms of Khalil Tate and what I saw him throwing the ball, I was like, it was just kind of uneven. I didn't really see anything that was real impressive to me coming off what I thought was a pretty good performance in the loss to Purdue in the bowl game. And it's been much of the same thing in these first two ball games for Khalil Tate. And I understand he was hurt and they said the game plan was trash because of that. Well, you know what? Okay, so now you can't run. Sit back there and make some throws. Start making some throws. And there were times that he left throws out on the field. You have got to understand, you've got to realize when the linebacker is reading your slant, throw the out. When you've got JJ on an underneath dump it rather than throwing the ball away.
Yeah, and I think that Khalil is still in the learning process, which is mind-boggling to me that he needs to get better at reading the reads and reading the linebackers, and he has to work harder in practice. He has to watch more film, and he has to understand what he is doing. And it just doesn't seem like he's doing it.
The other thing that kind of stood out to me in this ballgame is the 1-yard line. 4 times from the 1-yard line, this offense could not manufacture a yard. It was a 3rd and 1 early in the game that killed a drive, and then and then you had the 4 plays at the 1-yard line, so 5 plays they couldn't manufacture a yard on offense, and then on defense you had them at the 1-yard line after your punter gave you an opportunity there, and you let the guy run 25 yards. It's again big plays. You got to be able to make big plays in those situations.
Well, one of the things that kind of frustrated me is that we used to work on goal line offense. Okay, so we need to maybe get underneath the center and maybe practice a couple of times and sneak it in at 1 yard. That's what I think we should be able to do. That's just a suggestion.
I think I said that 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Why don't we get under the center 4th and 1? I was glad to hear Todd McShay say that on the broadcast, is that, why are we still in the shotgun when we only need 1 yard? That doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever. All right, the defensive side of the ball, and the defense has failed the first 2 tests of this season. When you talk about they just can't get to the quarterback, whether they're rushing 3, whether they're blitzing 4, or trying to send 5, Houston and BYU have picked up every man. It has been hat on hat for 2 games. And you've got to give those other teams some credit in that instance, especially in the running game. But they've just been able to get to the second level and take our young linebackers out of big runs.
Well, Dave, one of the things that you have to work on is technique. Technique is getting off blocks and getting to the football. I think we were gassed in the first quarter when they went super fast. They didn't go real fast. They went super fast. It really gassed us with all the being in the morning, the heat, the humidity. I think that really wore us out. And like I said on Friday, that our offense had to be our defense. And we didn't have any offense.
What we're looking at here is a situation where, especially in the passing game, is still, I saw tight ends running uncovered. There's just a recognition problem right now in the passing game for a lot of the young players on defense.
Yeah, and that's just studying and knowing your assignment. We used to call them MAs, missed assignments. There was MAs all over the place. I mean, it just really, it's frustrating for a coach when you're telling them what they need to do and they're not following through. I don't know what it is more studying, more practice, doing better in practice. They just got to get it corrected. It's a lot of things that can be corrected. Getting off blocks, that's correctable. It's not like we don't have the talent to get off the block. We can do that.
I don't think you can underestimate or understate the disappearance of Jace Whitaker off this team because of the injury. He is, and he's not going to cure everything, but he is such a leader, and they are missing that leadership right now.
We're missing the leadership, and we're missing the soul of this team. We have to find the soul of this team. You guys got to come back Monday. I'm just telling you, Wildcats, come back Monday, evaluate yourself, look yourself in the mirror, and say, what can I do to get this team better? Each individual. I'm talking about scout team. I'm talking about everybody, walk-ons, everybody. What are we going to do on Monday to get us better to be prepared on Saturday?
All right, top Cats, Sean Poindexter, man, he's giving us what we asked him to give us in the preseason. It's just a shame we can't do more with it.
Yeah, we got to be able to get him the ball. Shun's got to get the ball in better situations where he's in open field. Get him in space where he doesn't have to be getting hit right away.
Yeah.
When he's doing a crossing route, get him in space, spread him out. Get him in there so he can use his ability.
And Colin Schooler defensively for me was my top Cat defensively. 3 tackles for loss, had the safety, and really was a little bit more of a presence.
Plays. We need more impact plays on our defense. We haven't got those impact plays.
All right, Southern Utah is next, the final non-conference game coming up on Saturday night at the stadium, and we'll be back to preview that game for you on Friday night.